In my previous episode, I started by thanking people for tuning in my little podcast. I mean, that's just because I saw a few views in my first ones. Well, the thing is, I'm not expecting people to actually consume my content because, first off, I have not shared this in my personal accounts, like telling people in my story for my classmates, my acquaintances to actually know that I have a podcast. That would help a lot because I can have subscribers and shit. But I haven't because I'm shy. And second of all, this is freaking enjoying because I am talking about something I really like, topic that I am really interested in, and it's very, very, I don't know, cathartic. Cathartic for me to actually take my time, research, gather information, and just shred things into something more understandable so I could elaborate it in detail and I can tell people out there who might just listen. And yeah, I just like being well articulated, especially in topics that I'm really interested in. And this is one of those shit. And that's our genre, society and culture, and I love this shit, and I'm very much enjoying myself. By the way, trigger warning if you don't like repetitive words, because I kept saying the word sad for some reason, and in my defense, I was recording this shit like 12 in the morning because of the spontaneous burst of energy. And aside from that, I just want to tell y'all that my fan was on the entire fucking time, because if it wasn't, I would be sweating as heck. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Modern love. Strong attraction, weak connection. Isa sa napapansin ko within our generation is puro syataan. Fling here, fling there. Ewan ko na. Actually, what disturbs me ay hindi lang siya exclusive sa Gen Z, which are people born from year 1997 to 2012. That's what I researched. And yung search ko sa Google, and so meaning to say, pinakabata na sa henerasyon natin is 12 or 13, so that's junior high school, grade 7, or about to be grade 7, so grade 6, graduating. So yun pa lang nga napakabata na. So when I mentioned hindi lang siya exclusive, which is what I find disturbing, is that I'm pertaining mismo sa mga kapatid ko that are in the generation alpha. Aware na sila kung ano yung jowa, and they are teasing each other and actually name dropping people. And that's the thing. I mean, it's kind of different for me. I mean, I don't know for y'all, but like, that's just different. Children age 7 and 8 knowing the existence of dating. I mean, okay, but that's like a light way to put it. To know the existing of dating, I mean, you would have known because you've got some parents, but the thing is, they relate to it by saying their crushes. And gosh, Diyos ko, ganyang edad na wala akong crush. Nagluto-lutoan lang ako sa gilid, like nagchuchap-chap pa ako ng mga dahon. Or maybe that's just me na in denial. By that time, I was liking girls, and of course, as someone in denial, I can classify them as a crush. Although that's a different story. What's up, bunkmates? For this episode, we will talk about dating made easier, but with the lack of depth. This is AJ, your host, and you're now listening to D-BUNK podcast. Decoding the world's weirdness, calling out bullshit, and having a damn good time. From dating apps, chat rooms like Omegle, to just simply common social media platforms that tayo meron yan, it has never been easier to meet new people. Although, with modern dating being much easier, I mean, compared to walking up to a hot person you saw from the other side of the cafe, like, you have to gain courage from that. So much easier, but as much as that is faster, that is much more quick for us to get to interact with the person that we are attracted to is unfortunately as swift. We could also lose interest or thrill, often leading to ghosting. Let's debunk why modern love feels so convenient yet so empty. 1. The illusion of choice. We are flooded with options on apps like Tinder, Bumble, ano ba? Late Match. Putang, puro judgment kasi dun. Okay, I don't know. I mean, for me, I've tried that myself, and I don't know, ask yourselves. It's pretty debatable, but I do think a lot of y'all would agree with me. Ayun. Pero hindi lang naman siya sa applications that I've mentioned. It can be on platforms like Omegle. Ano pa ba? Like simply social media platforms. Kung nakita mo sa suggestion mo, nagandahan ka, napugian ka, you can definitely add them and just, I don't know, strike up a conversation. But the question is, do more options actually lead to better connections? But here's the thing, there's this paradox when it comes to choice. Even though we have more options, it is noticeable among this generation that there is still more dissatisfaction amidst the amount of options that we have. And it's probably because sarami ng nakikita nating options, sarami ng fishes sa ocean. We can say that's a good metaphor for it, is that we tend, I mean, that's just for me, I do think we just tend to see kung ano yung similarities nila, that we just keep seeking for something different, like we're trying to fish out this rare kind of fish. So I've noticed that swiping culture had promoted superficiality, not just swiping or the application itself, but having the access to a lot of individuals, a lot of strangers. So superficiality, superficial, the state of being shallow, mababo kumbaga. So with that, nakikita ko, I mean, myself, I'm trying to make friends sa mga social media platforms, my Bumble BFF, and even sa mga Omegle, ganun mga sites, mga chat rooms. Napakababaw, like, the conversation is literally on the surface. It is rare to find someone you can nerd out with, and that you're pretty lucky that you can find an intellectual person out there. I mean, I guess it's just, it also do depend on how well articulated the person you're gonna talk to, especially when it is text based. So yeah, and also when it comes to dating, somehow it became quantity over quality. Because for instance, you're in a dating app, so you're gonna swipe, you're gonna get a lot of matches. So you've created this mindset that the more you get, the more likes, the more matches you get, the more chances that you have on getting a specific person to be with you. Like you're just taking everyone in just so you could nitpick in the end. And I don't know. I mean, it's good if you nitpick so you could actually get equality, but most of the time it's just about hoarding the people who you could date. 2. Digital convenience leading to disconnection. Everything is made faster now, from matching to meeting. Like, literally, nakausap mo lang, pwede mo na agad siyang puntahan mamaya kung may pamasahe ka. Yun. But, what are we really skipping in the process? Ano ba yung ginagawa nating mali? Well, first off, text-based communication limits emotional nuances. So, of course, text-based, hindi mo nakikita yung mukha, hindi mo nakikita yung mga social cues. That means you are limited to the surface. Kung ano yung may papakita sa'yo ng tao, kung ano yung gusto niya sabihin, that's only it. So, kung hindi magandang na communicator yung tao na kausap mo, it would be a very tricky conversation to have, and it would also be much more difficult to have a connection, to build a bond with them if you do wish to do so. And what's sad is that people are now less invested because meeting someone new is just a few clicks and taps away. So, kumbaga, for instance, now I'm having a good conversation with someone and suddenly nag-crash his site. Or, I mean, that's an unfortunate event, but most of the time, I would not cling onto you because I know that chances that I might get someone as interesting as you, but it is definitely guaranteed that I could talk to someone else in just a snap. So yeah, the personality of course differs since it's a different basis from person to person. I mean, we're very authentic. We are different from one another. But the thing is, yeah, it is so easy for someone to talk to another individual. I think that leads people to take each other for granted. Take for granted in a sense that we do not take the time to appreciate, to actually take interest on the conversation, on the interaction that we are having with the other person. This has yet again proven the existence of the mindset of quantity over quality. I mean, yes, because you know that you can get more people to talk to, therefore you are most likely to have create less quality connections. And that's just sad. There's nothing else to describe it as. And third, of course, in this generation, especially in the older generation, hookup culture versus meaningful relationships. We are so focused with our libido, and that is hindering us from creating meaningful relationships. Guaranteed na, pumunta ka sa chat rooms, pumunta ka sa mga apps, for sure, baka mag-aya sa'yo dyan, and yun. So, people now are more into casual relationships, although it still goes down to the matter of preference, but it's still sad to think that a lot of people, a stronger way to put it, the majority of the whole population prefers casual relationships rather than those ones that are built with depth and genuine intentions. 3. Fear of vulnerability. We crave connection, but fear depth. Why? The simplest answer to this is that people fear rejection. Takot tayo na hindi similar, hindi pareho yung gusto natin sa gusto ng taong kinakausap natin. And that leads to people to play games instead of being genuine. So yung takot. Bukod sa takot. Kasi nagkaroon na tayo ng culture where everyone is not being straightforward. They're not direct with what they're feeling. They're not direct of their intentions, and that strikes fear upon people, onto people, to be vulnerable, to express themselves that this is what I want, this is who I want, and this is what I expect. This internal issue nagresulta siya sa avoidance ng mga hard conversations. A conversation considered hard, which is simply sasabihin mo lang naman kung ano yung nararamdaman mo, because there is emotional walls within this quote-unquote cool dating culture that is existing to this day. Astig daw. Kasi mysterious, there's fun and games. No, I do think nagre-revolve around flings, casual relationships tong generation natin, because we are not talking about things. Okay? Takot tayo. Una, pinapangunahan natin. Second, kung di man tayo takot, may lakas na loob, the person, on the other hand, that we want to talk to doesn't have that comprehension or the emotional availability to actually understand, comprehend what you really want to bring out there. And yun, it's still going to revolve back into the disconnection amongst people within this technological age, which is very ironic because communication is made easier but yet we are slowly losing our connections more. 4. Validation over connection. Are we dating to find a genuine connection, or we just want to feel wanted? Matches and likes sa mga dating apps are dopamine hits. Kasi, I've tried that before when I was single. And I was like, yes, it is a dopamine hit because, like, wow, someone actually think I'm interesting. Someone actually thinks I'm good looking. Of course it's gonna boost up your freaking hormones. But what's sad about it is that these applications can be used, and no, well, it can be, and is now continuously being used as self-esteem boosters. You don't need other people's opinion about you, other people's agreement on such positive things about you just for you to feel good about yourself. You are good just the way you are. And I think what's something we are losing aside from connection within this generation is that we tend to lose the ability to find the validation within ourselves. We always find validation in other people, which is definitely not a good thing because sino ba sila? Okay, so this thirst for validation, the girl is not just a performance of perfection on social media and dating profiles. Magpapalitang gilas ka just to be like. You want to come as aesthetically pleasing. You also want to come as an intellectual. It's not bad to actually flex, to show out your personality, but trying too hard, and especially in the worst case scenario, not being yourself at all and making this facade just to be wanted, that is something you shouldn't do. And yeah, yun nga sabi ko, you shouldn't look for the validation in other people, but you have to do so sa sarili mo mismo. Find the validation that you need within yourself. 5. Ghosting culture. If finding someone new in this generation became really easy, disappearing also has never been easier. Great example nito, bukod doon sa katokan stage mo na nagsayang lang na hindi nagparamdam, is yung friend mo na nagpaparamdam lang pag may away sila ng shota niya. Yun, lalapag lang sa GC pag may away sila at naiyak na siya. Yun. Well, ghosting as a norm resulted to having no closure, hence accountability. Ano pa bang accountability ang mangyayari kung hindi na nga siya nagpaparamdam eh? Ghosting is such an evil thing to do. For me, especially when you have this connection building up, because like you can literally stop talking to the other person mid-conversation. Pag lang naisipin mo pag napag-isipan mo lang na ayaw na siya kausap, you can literally disappear in a fucking snap. Oh, that's very cruel and evil. Like, right there, like, you just decided that you're not interested anymore. The other person will continuously think of what they could have done for you to stop talking to them. If may nagawa ba sila, if something's unlikable with them, kung pangit pa sila, kung kapalit-palit ba sila, then why? maybe that's a question they might ask yourself, and that's really sad because other people think like ghosting is just simply disappearing from another person's life. For you, it would be the easiest way to put it because there's no hard conversations and you just disappear. And for the ghoster, it will definitely be a benefit because you don't have to go through anything. Like, you don't have to have confrontations. But for the other party, they would have to question themselves and think about it every day, especially if they do have this connection with the other person. And still, going back to our third key point, I do think ghosters fear vulnerability because what is it they fear to talk about with the other person? Ano yung kinakatakot nilang pag-usapan? What's so hard about just sitting down, not really sitting down, actually just texting them, giving them a chance, like, we need to talk about this, blah, 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 this is what I feel. What's so hard about that? Because they fear vulnerability. There are just subtle ghosting. For me, myself, if I find the other person not so interesting, eventually the conversation will die and you're just gonna let that happen. I think that's something normal. Communication should be interesting. It should be very well thought and well articulated, that it connects people. And these casual exits kill emotional safety and security. Yun nga, kasi you just casually decided that you're gonna stop talking to this person, and on the other end of the conversation, there's a person that is slowly drifting away and is now feeling unsafe because they fear, or the next time na may kakausapin silang tao, they would expect them to disappear out of the blues just because they experienced this one. All these negative factors, what now? Are we going to be stuck in these shallow waters forever? Okay, baka sabihin nyo puro naman to negative aspects. May mga positive outcomes naman din yung modern dating. Okay, yes, there is. If you're genuine enough, if you love hard enough, yes, there can be. Okay, let me be a good ass example for this episode. I am in a relationship for 2 years with my lovely girlfriend who I met in Omegle. Yung Omegle na OG the OG one, that passed away. You could definitely view the site still, but there's this read page lang, and there's a tomb of that website. Like, if you know, you know. So we are over 50 kilometers apart, unfortunately. Me being in Batangas and her being in Pasig. But it fucking works. I guess you just get lucky. But here's the contradicting thing. Jel and I became official 2 weeks in. Like, 2 weeks in, kakamit lang namin sa Omegle. Pretty normal lang siya within the lesbian field, which I will tackle in a different episode. But for now, yes, let's go back. Shout out muna sa baby ko dyan. Good luck to school. I love you so much. So, how do we get the depth back? Intentional dating. Choose depth over convenience. Ang convenient sa atin na wag pag-usapan yung nararamdaman, wag pag-usapan yung internalized issues natin. I think it's time to step out of our comfort zone. We should decide to fight our fears, fight the demons, and choose to be in depth with the person who we like. Take a breather, think your thoughts out, and then go approach her. Go approach him, them, and tell them what you really feel, what you really want, what's your intention, what's your expectation. Date with intent. Communicate your intentions and expectations clearly. That's the simplest thing. Lagi na naman sinasabi, communication is key, but it is easier said than done. Always. Next thing is putting down the apps and embracing discomfort. Ito ang hindi ko masasabi. Ito yung hindi ko lead by example. Kasi torpe ako. I mean, for instance, I'm single and then I find this person standing near me in a public place, and I just find them good looking, attractive. I cannot walk up to them and strike a conversation. But if you are the type that can do that, I mean, why not? I mean, for some na takot talaga ganun, that it takes balls, it takes courage. Balls, it takes pussy. Pussies are much more indestructible. But that's for another episode again. And pwede ka naman magpareto, which is much more easier. Do it in person. And lastly, slow down the pace of connection. I cannot lead by example again, but yeah, it is easy. It is safer. I mean, it is much more recommendable for you to slow down. Like, enjoy the pacing of it, chill, and then just let it simmer like a sinigang. Like, let the veggies cook. So that's it for modern love, with all the choice overload, emotional disconnection, and ghosting. How about you? What's your experience? Share it in the podcast email kasi hindi pa rin ako nakapagawa ng G-forms at Instagram. So that will be d.bunk.pod@gmail.com. Yeah, so I hope this episode made you think about your dating choices and behavior. And for some, hopefully, y'all got inspired to date with intentions again. Let's build strong connections, bunkmate, and let's have substance and be well-articulated, hindi puro landi, okay? Pero kung hindi ka pa ready or masakit pa si heart, chill ka lang, no rush. A whole generation's bunking up with you. This is Seiji once again, shredding your life wonders into bits. Have a good one. Napause na ako kakaritig kasi I'm a perfectionist. Bye-bye!